To put this pen on the lathe, we're going to remove the tailstock. I'm going to take off these bushings. We'll leave one of them on. And then we slide on our first pen blank. Put 2 bushings on. Then we'll add our other pen blank and 1 more bushing. Now, if your pen blanks don't go on to the mandrel, probably means you have glue inside of that brass tube, and you need to go back with that reaming tool and clean out that glue. Okay, now we can put our tailstock back on the lathe. Slide that back on, and we'll tighten these down. It doesn't have to be super tight. We don't want to break anything. That should do. Okay, now we'll tighten up our tailstock just a little bit. Looks like we need to slide this back. Our tool rest is hitting, so we're going to slide that back. And make sure that this can rotate without hitting our tool rest. And we'll lock that in. Okay, now our two cutting tools that we're going to use. The first one, this one right here, this is a skew chisel. It's got a nice angle on it here. And our other one is a round nose scraper. So these 2 tools are typically what I use when I make a pen. Okay, so our blanks are rotating freely. They're not hitting our tool rest. We can go ahead and turn our pen blanks round. Okay, so we're going to take our scraper, and the long point of the angle, the top of the scraper, that goes up. There's also lettering on the tool here. You can tell that that side goes up. We're going to put our tool down on the rest and very lightly touch into our pen blank. Some people like to put their finger against the tool rest like this and pinch the tool. That controls the depth of cut. We just want to take real light passes. Okay, as you can see, we're starting to knock off the corners. We still got some flat spots on there. We want to make that completely round, make it into a cylinder. Okay, now that one's completely round, I'm going to go ahead and round out our other blank. Still got a little flat spot there. Okay, both blanks are rounded out, or turned around. Next thing I'm going to do is take my skew chisel, and I'm going to bevel each end down to my bushings. Okay? Be very careful not to hit the tool on the metal bushing, that'll dull it. Okay, now we have all of our ends beveled down to our bushings, and the reason we do that is these bushings are the same size as the pen part. So the tip of the pen is this diameter here, the size of the bushing. The middle bushing in the pen, it's the same size as this, and then the cap is the same size as the end. So we want that to flow into those different parts, and we don't want a lip there. So we took those down to there. Now we need to decide what shape we want to do on the pen. And there's lots of different shapes you can do. Typically, what I do is the front part of the pen where you're holding it with your hand, I'll make that kind of into a long bullet shape. And the back, I like to just come here along the top, go down in the middle, and come back out on the end there where the cap's gonna go. You can do whatever you want. The most important thing is, as we cut into this pen blank, we don't want to cut so deep that we hit into that brass tube. Okay, if we cut through all the wood and get down to that brass tube, we've got to start over. It's ruined. Okay, the brass tube is going to be a hair smaller than these bushings, so that's another reason we beveled these edges down, so we know, okay, my brass tube is just below this diameter. I cannot go any further than that. So this is going to be my front one, the bottom part of the pen where you hold it with your hand. I'm going to make a gentle arc or a bullet shape, and I'm going to use the skew chisel to do that. Now when you're turning, you want to make sure that you get all of your tool marks out. Like if I dig in just a little bit with the tip of my tool and I leave a line, I want to try to use the tool to get that line out. I don't want to leave it for the sanding stage because that means more sanding. Okay, so we got this front shaped out about like we like it. I've got all my tool marks out. It's pretty consistent in its shape. There's no digs or gouges. That's good. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the back side of the pen, or the top of the pen. And like I said, I'm going to take some out of the middle, make a little scoop here in the middle, and come back up on each end. Okay, so to do that little round scoop, I'm going to use my scraper. Switch to our skew chisel here just to clean up a few of these lines, just real lightly. Okay, I've got that cut out. All my lines are out. It's a shape I want it. It looks good. Common mistakes students make while turning a pen on the lathe is they push on the tools way too hard. As you notice, when I was turning this pen, I was taking extremely light passes not pushing on the tools very hard, just letting the tool do the work and make the cut. When you get in a hurry and try to take too much material in one pass, your tool wants to grab, you put gouges in your pen, or there is a chance that the tool grabs or hooks and everything comes apart. Okay, we don't want to do that. Nice slice passes. Take your time, you're not in a hurry. Okay, I've got everything shaped out like I want it. Our next step is sanding.